At the moment, this tom and this tom are tuned about a fourth apart. So let me just play those for you. So a fourth is like the first two notes of Amazing Grace. Okay. So this, I basically tuned both of these down a little bit from when I first set them up. And the way I usually tune drums is to have the bottom head a minor third higher in pitch than the top head. And a minor third would be like the first two notes of Postman Pat, if you know that song. Dun, 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 okay. But I then subsequently tuned the top heads of both drums down a little bit to kind of get rid of some extra harmonic overtones that I was getting because the drums were tuned quite high. And what I'm kind of curious to see is the difference in sound of this drum if I try and get the same kind of general overall tone, pitch, sorry, but with the heads in different combinations. So at the moment, you can hear that those two heads are approximately a fourth apart. La 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 ame. So what I'm going to do is try and get this same general pitch, but with the top head a minor third higher than the bottom head a minor third higher than the top head rather than a fourth. So that means I need to tune this up a tiny little bit and this down a tiny little bit. So my reference is always going to be that I have this tom here, la, la, and I want to come down to la. Okay, that's the interval I want to get. So I'm going to play around with that. I'm probably going to edit out bits of this because it's going to take me a while, but I want to see how this drum sounds generally when it's tuned to the same pitch but with different head combinations. Okay, so I'll hit it one more time with this mic off. So there's a couple of overheads here that are recording the sound. That's the only mics on these drums. There's a close mic on this tom, but it's not being used. You're not hearing that. You're literally hearing those mics pick up the drum. So this is the heads a fourth. So this is a fourth lower than the bottom, and it sounds like this. Okay, so because I'm going to bring, let's bring this head up a tiny little bit. So that's pretty much in tune with itself. So la, la. So that's close to a minor third. So let's see how this drum sounds now. So you see now the two heads are about a minor third apart and the drum's got a very pleasing overall sound, but now this drum is closer to a third apart from this and I want it to be a fourth. So and now I'm going to bring both these heads down just a tiny little bit, so the top head down less than I took it up, and if you noticed, I took it up a tiny little amount. So I'm going to see the relation of these two is like a minor third, la, la. So what I'm going to do is bring both of these down by a semitone if I can, and then still have the minor third relationship, but have the whole thing brought down by semitone. So, la. So the easiest way to do it might be to do it with intervals. So leaving this head as it is, let's take the bottom head la, la. So I want to be at la, la. So I want this to come down to la. So this helps if you've done any kind of piano ear training. There's a website, I'll put a link up for the website, which is an ear training site, and you can learn to recognize intervals. And I might also post a blog article on how I went about learning the intervals. But for now, I'm going to tune these a major second apart. So I want this to come down to la, la. So I'm barely turning these things, I'm slackening them off just the tiniest bit. And then when I push the head in. So that's about where I want it, okay? And then I'm going to tune the other head down to make it a minor third apart. So now I want this one. La, la, la. So it's got to come down a tiny. See, when I push it in, sometimes it takes it lower than I want. That's what I'm going for, la. Somewhere around there. So let's see what it sounds like now. I'm hoping it's going to be approximately a fourth away from this drum, but with the heads in that minor third relationship. Actually, that's not quite right. La, la. It's about there. Let's see what that sounds like. So I'm pretty happy with the sound of that drum. That's that minor third relationship between the heads. And it's a very nice, got a very nice tone to it. Now for the sake of experimentation, what I wanted to try and do was get the same pitch out of this drum, but with the heads tuned to the same pitch. Okay, so here, for a note which I would say is la, we've got the heads tuned to la. La, 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 la. So I would say that the fundamental tone of this, la, la, na, 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 is a fifth below the top head. Okay, so if you were to draw this out, let's say, I don't know what this is because I don't have a piano to hand, but I'm saying that the fundamental pitch of this is a C, let's say. And then I'm saying that the top head, the harmonic I'm hearing is la, is a fifth up from that. So that would be a G. And then that head, la, is a minor third up from a G, which would be a B flat. So we've got to go, for minor third, it's 3 semitones. So G, G sharp, A sharp. So B flat. So la, la, la. So I don't know if that's always going to work in theory. Let's see what we've got here, if we have the same relationship. Actually, that's got the fourth thing going on. So la, la, la. So what I'm going to do to try and get that la sound, but with the heads at the same pitch, I'm going to have to bring this one up a little bit and this one down a little bit. So let's just see what happens if I do that. So I'm going to go up a semitone here. So, la la, and then they have to bring this head down to the same pitch. And if you take nothing else away from this video, just take away this idea that these heads need to be in tune with themselves as much as possible. And the adjustments that I'm making here to get the pitch that I want are tiny. Down a little bit more. See, I loosen them off a little bit, but because the head's pulled down over the rim of the drum, loosening them off doesn't always slacken it. So then you need to just push it a little bit to pull the head through. La. La. That's a bit higher now. Let's see what the overall pitch is. So again, that's about a fourth La Mi. So let's see what this drum sounds like now the heads are pretty much tuned to the same pitch. So there I would say that la, 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 la. That's a major 6 between the kind of harmonic I'm hearing on the head, la, and the fundamental tone, la, la. So if both heads are tuned to the same pitch, then the fundamental is a major 6th underneath that. Now, I don't know if that holds true on every drum, but for this drum and this kind of setting, it seems to work. So my preference is for the minor 3rd between the heads. With this, I feel that there are a few more overtones and you don't get the same pitch bend. But now I have the audio recording of those 3 different tunings of the drum, and you can decide which you prefer. And I will watch it back and decide which I prefer. So I'm going to tune this back to my minor 3rd between the things, between the heads, and I'm going to do it by the rule I had before, which was the fundamental is a 5th lower than the harmonic of the top head, and then you have the minor 3rd interval. So with this, la, so I want that to be a major 4th above this, so la, mi, la. So with that as my fundamental, la, let's say it's a C, then I want to go a 5th up from that, la, la. So I want the harmonic, kind of fundamental harmonic of this head to be la, la. La, la, la. I actually want to go down. Somewhere around there. So that's my top head pitch, and then the bottom head I want to be a minor 3rd higher than that. La, 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 la. somewhere around there. So I'm hoping that this will now sound a perfect fourth lower than the 10-inch tom. So this one, la, and I'm expecting me, there you go. So I don't know if that rule holds true on every drum. I might just try it on the 10-inch drum and see if it does. Let's see, let's put this back. See, if this works, then you can decide what pitch you want your drum to be, and you can decide the relationship between the heads, and then you know exactly where to tune each head. You're aiming for, I have no head. You're aiming for a specific pitch on the top head and then a specific pitch on the bottom head, and you don't have the issue of the whole overall pitch of the drum changing while you're messing about, because if you just want the general pitch of the drum to go up a bit, you can tune both heads up a bit, but then you might lose the relationship between them, which you know works. So now I have the 12-inch tom with my minor third interval, and it's the pitch that I want it to be. Whoops, let's do the same with this drum. Oh, it looks really small when it's on its own. So here, so yeah, actually sounds more like a third different. It's interesting that that sounds like a different pitch when it's got the bass drum underneath it. I would say that's more like a fifth between those and a third between these. But let's see what happens. We've got at the moment a fourth between those. Although this head is not really in tune with itself. So that's like a minor third. So my theory is that la, la, that should be a fifth above what the fundamental pitch of this drum is. La, la, twin, na, la, la. So I'm expecting this drum to be la, la, la. Yeah, la, la, la. La, la. It's kind of a semitone lower than I expected. La, 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 la. Na, 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 na. Okay, so theory failed. The thing is, because of the pitch bend, you can pick out different tones in this, different pitches. I can hear kind of where it starts or where it ends, and it's the relationship between the drums that makes you focus in on one or the other. So anyway, this drum sounds nice to me. It does indeed sound about a fourth apart from this. So I would then perhaps just change this. That's got a big pitch bend on it. I'll come back to that. I'm just going to put this back on the kit and see how it sounds there. Okay, then for anybody who's curious, I'm playing these now just with the overhead mic, okay? I'm actually thinking I might want to drop the top head of this, maybe both of these a little bit. This is what happened before. Maybe I get more of a pitch bend on it then. Let me see. See, once they're kind of in tune, then you can mess around. See, they sound like they work better together to me. So one more time, just the overheads. Okay, so that's just the overhead. And then I've got these close mics on here, and also I didn't have the kick or snare mics on there. So I'm going to switch those on, and then you can hear how they affect the sound, because these are like listening very close to the drum, and you get a kind of warm body to the sound. Okay, so finally, this is what the toms sound like with the overhead and the close mics mixed in. So now I'm just thinking that I want to bring this floor tom up a little bit. You see that the pitch dips quite a lot. So it's dipping down to the pitch of the top head. So I'm going to try bringing the top head up a little bit. So that brings it closer to a fourth between all the toms. And I actually have a coated Ambassador on this tom and coated Emperors on these two. And that's for no reason apart from the fact that I obviously forgot to change a head at some point. And this one has got a lot more sustain, which may be partially to do with that, but also partially to do with the fact that it's a bigger drum and it's tuned low. So one more time, these three toms together. And when I hit this, I still feel like it starts off a little too high. So I might also be tempted to tune the bottom head down a little bit. But basically, I think they're decent sounding drums. So hope I haven't bored you too much with this. Hope you find something useful in it, and I'll see you in the next lesson.